Hey guys, welcome to my channel. It is Christian here. Thank you guys so much for joining me today. So today it is New Year's Eve, and can you guys believe it? I know everyone says it, but tomorrow we are gonna wake up to 2017. How absolutely crazy is that? And I just want to take a quick moment to thank all of you guys for making my 2016 absolutely amazing. YouTube is something that I had wanted to do for years and years, and I was just always a little too scared to do it, or there was always just something kind of standing in the way, myself obviously, that just kind of always prevented me from wanting to put myself out there. I was scared, and you guys just made it so easy for me to just come on camera and just kind of do something that I really enjoy. And for that, I want to say thank you for making my 2016 everything that I hoped it would be. So today what we're going to be doing is we are going to be talking about all of my favorite beauty products from 2016. So if you guys have been around on my channel for a while, you probably already know half of what I'm going to mention today. I thought it would just be so fun to do just like a year-end review, a roundup of everything that I absolutely loved. All right guys, so if you are new to my channel, welcome. Thank you so much for joining me today. So if you do not mind, go ahead and hit the subscribe button down below. Subscribing to my channel, you guys, just ensures that you do not miss any future upcoming videos. And if you are not new to my channel, you guys, welcome back. Thank you for continuing to join me and support me. And let's just hope that 2017 is as amazing as 2016 was. And let's hope that these makeup brands keep releasing bomb AF products. And yeah, if you are interested in seeing some of my favorite items, then you're gonna wanna go ahead and just keep on watching. All right guys, so a lot of the products that I loved in 2016, I am currently wearing on my face today. So we're just gonna go in no particular order. I am just gonna talk about all of my favorite loves of the year. So let's do this. So not everything that I'm gonna be talking about today was released in 2016, but a lot of it was. So I think I'm gonna start kind of in the order in which I do my makeup. And the first thing that I typically do first are my brows. So I just decided to pull this guy out because this is the Benefit Brow Collection, or not the whole collection, but I just wanted to pull this out so you guys can kind of see. I loved Benefit's brow products this year. Specifically, the Precisely My Brow, Gimme Brow has been a favorite of mine for years, Goof Proof Brow, and the Ka-Brow. I love all of their brow products. I think that they're amazing. They are like my favorite brow products of like ever of all time right now. I just think that they're really good. They're easy, they just work, they don't require a lot of effort. It's like, they're just good. I just feel like out of all of the brow pencils and brow products that I have tried, I just feel like I get the best outcome with the Benefit brow products. Those just changed the brow game for me this year. So my favorite though is probably the Gimme Brow, obviously, but if we're talking about actually filling in your brows and getting like a more defined brow, my favorite was probably the Precisely My Brow. Love that stuff. So good. Now, my favorite concealer to clean up my brows that I used every single day that I did my makeup, it is not my favorite concealer for like the face, but just to kind of carve off my brows and clean up any mistakes that I made, was the Anastasia concealer, and I use it in the shade 1. Now this is a little too thick for me, in my opinion, to like use underneath the eyes. I don't really like it for spot concealing, but it does such a really good job carving and defining your brows. So this was a must-have for me. I used it every single day that I did my makeup. Alrighty, my favorite primers of 2016, I have two, but I am out of one of them. So the first one is the Makeup Forever Smoothing Primer. That was my absolute favorite. I love that primer. I just haven't had a chance to repurchase it. And then for hydrating purposes, you guys definitely saw this a lot on my channel this year. This was the Laura Geller Spackle Hydrating Moisturizer Under Makeup Primer. This was just, I love hydrating primers. You guys know that. I love smoothing primers. You guys know that as well. But there was just something about this primer that I just really loved. The Makeup Forever one, it just blurs everything. It just kind of just makes your pores just kind of disappear for the day. You know, you gotta love that, especially if you have pore problems. It just really helped my skin a lot, and it just really gave me like a flawless base. And this is just one of the best hydrating primers that I have tried, and you guys know that I've tried a lot. I probably have had this for about I'd say maybe 4 months or so, and I've almost used the entire bottle, and this is definitely something that I will purchase in the next year. All right, so let's swing it back up to eyes. So I don't even really have to mention this because you guys probably already know, but my favorite eyeshadow primer ever, and you guys saw these also in every single makeup tutorial that I probably did. The two that I used every single time I did my makeup was the Benefit Stay Don't Stray, which I love. It cancels your eyes out. It gives you like a nice, it's not like super tacky, but because I have hooded eyes, it really allows the eyeshadows to stick. What I do is I take that Anastasia concealer down kind of to my lid, and then I take the Benefit Gimme Brow or the Benefit Stay Don't Stray, and I kind of meet it up to the concealer, and then I just kind of blend them together, and it just cancels everything out. It just provides the most even base for my concealer or for my eyeshadow. Nothing ever skips, nothing ever looks funny whenever I use this eyeshadow primer. I did not have this eyeshadow primer for like a couple of weeks, and every time I did my makeup, I noticed an absolute difference. I just swear by this stuff. I think it is so good, and I just recently, like 3 days ago, purchased another one of these. I probably went through about 4 of these this year, and until I find something better, I will definitely keep repurchasing this. Now this, for the average person, might not be a necessity if you don't have hooded eyes, or if you have a ton of lid space, if you just have gorgeous creased up eyes, then you probably don't need this, at least on a daily basis the way I use it. I use it every single day because I want to do my best to keep my shimmer shades that I place on my lid from transferring to my upper crease. Now this doesn't 100% prevent that because stuff is gonna move. It does help the longevity of any shimmer shade, any glitter, anything that I put on my eye. It prevents it for a little while longer from transferring up. So I love this stuff. I think it is really good. It works for pigments, it works for glitters, it just works for regular old shimmer eyeshadows. So this is something else that I will definitely keep repurchasing. I've heard a lot of good things about a couple of other ones that I'll probably give a try in 2017, but for 2016, this was my jam. All right, so my favorite eyeshadow palettes. So like my top favorite, which I feel like so many people are gonna mention and talk about because it was just that freaking good. The Anastasia Modern Renaissance palette. Now this palette, it was just something special. I don't even know how to describe it. When I first saw this palette, when it was being released, I was like, I am not gonna use those shades. They're not gonna work for me. They're not gonna be what I need them to be. You know, I was kind of like the Red Ochre, Venetian Red, and Love Letter. I was kind of like, I'm not gonna use those. I'm not gonna do it. But I've done it. I've loved it. And this, like, Anastasia shadows are just so amazingly good. I recently hauled some of her single eyeshadows for Black Friday, and holy crap, I have been using those nonstop since I got them. This palette, it is just beautiful. It is the perfect fall palette. It is like a neutral palette, but it is like a neutral palette on like steroids, because you can play it up. You can make it very easy for day. You can take it to night with no problem. Add Cypress Umber is one of like my favorite like brown shades ever. Like I use it all the time if I want to deepen up any look, even if I'm not necessarily reaching for this palette. Whenever I need like a deep, just really good brown shade, I kind of think of this shade all the time, and you can tell that I have hit pan on this shade. I just think that they're beautiful. I think that they are pigmented. I think that they are buttery. I think that they can make a beautiful cranberry smoky eyes. I think you can just take it to very, like I said, just very neutral, very easy. You can throw a little bit of burnt orange in the crease. You can throw a little bit of Primavera on the lid and you're done. Or if you want to take it to the next level, you can throw a little bit of Cypress Umber kind of in your outer V, and you are just going to get a flawless look every single time. I'm wearing a lot of Anastasia shadows on my eyes today, and they're just absolutely gorgeous. This palette I reached for a ton. I feel like this is the palette that people will love in 2017. People are just gonna love it. It is gonna be a palette that you can just, like I said, reach for all year round. But if you're just looking for a good fall and winter palette, hello, look no further. The hype is real. Trust and believe, this palette is amazing. So I gotta give like an honorable mention, because it would not be fair to 2016 and my beauty favorites if I did not mention this palette. I strayed away from it a lot towards the last couple of months of the year. So, but from like January to like June, this palette was everything to me. I used it every single day. I reached for it all the time. It was just the easiest neutral palette ever, and I just have to give it an honorable mention. This is the Too Faced Chocolate Bar palette. It is one of my favorite palettes of all time. Both of these two palettes are definitely in probably my top 5 of favorite palettes of all time. You guys can see I've mentioned this more times than I can count on my channel. I have favorited it. I have put it in so many tutorials, especially early on. And I mean, you could definitely look and see that this palette was loved and appreciated. So like I said, it just wouldn't have been 2016 without mentioning this one. So I love this palette. If you just want something easy and quick, you cannot go wrong with this palette. It has everything that you could ever need in an eyeshadow palette except for a black, but for me that's fine because I very, very rarely ever use black eyeshadows. Their favorite that you're probably gonna see on everybody's 2016 favorite, because it is just that good. I have mentioned it, I have talked about it, I have raved about it along with everybody else. It's like beating a dead horse. It's just kind of reiterating it again and again and again, but I thought I would just let you guys know one last time that the Tarte Shape Tape Concealer was legit the best concealer released in 2016. It is full coverage, it is blendable, it cancels any and everything out. If you didn't get any sleep, if you are tired, if you are overworked, if you are just needing a miracle in a tube, honey, this is the answer to every single prayer when it comes to concealers. Now, I think I will admit that I can probably get away without, you guys know that I always put a little bit of corrector underneath before I put on any concealer because I do have a lot of darkness underneath my eyes, and if you don't put a little bit of like a correcting shade underneath, sometimes a little bit of like blue and gray like cast will come underneath your concealer and it'll just look a little weird. So I do that just out of habit and out of like, just to make sure that everything looks good and looks seamless. But with this concealer, I can get away with not doing that. So if there's a day where I'm just in a rush and I just need to do something super quick and super easy, I will reach for this concealer and it'll work for me every single time. And it's a good spot concealer. It's a good under eye highlighter. Now, this is the type of concealer, I typically set my concealers all the time anyway, just to be safe. But this is a concealer that you could get away with not setting. It has like a matte finish. It just dries down just so beautifully, you guys. I know that it's hard to kind of like gauge what's real, what's not. When a bunch of people are raving about the same thing, you don't know if it's just overhyped. You don't know if it's actually worth it. I get it. I totally get it. But let me tell you, good, really good. Try it. You will not be disappointed. All right. So I tried out so many. Oh, let me show you my corrector really quickly. My favorite corrector of 2016 was the Becca Under Eye Brightening Corrector. You guys can see that I've almost used the entire thing. It gives like a little bit of luminosity, and I definitely like to wear this with the Tarte Shape Tape because the Tarte Shape Tape is a little bit more matte, which is not bad. Don't freak out. Even if you have dry under eyes, this works, I promise you. But this is a little bit more luminous, so I will go in with a little bit of this to kind of do a little bit of color correcting. And then when you apply the Tarte Shape Tape over top of it, it just makes for the most beautiful under eye. It just does. They work. You guys have seen me use these two products a ton. So, you know, the love is real, you guys. So shout out to that guy. Okay, so I tried so many foundations in 2016, so many. Now I'm gonna mention two newer foundations. Well, technically one of them is not new. I think that they just re-promoted it, but I have mentioned this. I mean, why do I keep saying that I've mentioned this? Obviously I've mentioned all of this on my channel like a million times, but for filming, just when I want easy, beautiful, like effortless, just everyday makeup, the Smashbox Studio Skin 15-Hour Wear Hydrating Foundation has been my jam. This is just such a good foundation, especially for every day. I like to wear it when I film because it looks really natural and it looks really pretty on the skin. I'm not wearing this one today. I'm wearing another one of my favorites of 2016 when I want to do a little bit more glam. But this is, out of the gate, this is definitely a medium coverage. I wouldn't say that you could build it up to full, but I definitely would say that you could get it to like a high medium coverage. And it just looks so flawless on the skin. Reach for this foundation more than any other one in 2016. It is almost empty. It is the foundation that has one of the best undertones for me because I do have a harder time finding foundations that match my undertone because I do have yellow in my skin, but I also have pink in my skin, a little bit more pink in my skin tone. or at least on my face. So, but I was starting to notice that my foundations were just never working for me because I was buying pink undertone foundations. And then I kind of switched over to more neutral undertones, or even a little bit of a yellow undertone, which this one definitely has a little bit more of a yellow undertone, and it just works so beautifully on my skin. I love this foundation. A lot of people talked about this foundation this year. A lot of people discovered this foundation this year. I don't know if they reformulated it or just promoted it, but whatever it was, I love it. It's really, really good, you guys. Now, I've said this, and I've said it, and I've said it, and I've said it, and I've said it a couple times, a lot of times, but it's just beautiful. Like, there's just no escaping it. There's just no denying the fact that this foundation is stunning on the skin. It is full coverage. It looks flawless. You look airbrushed. This is the foundation that I'm wearing on my skin today. I don't reach for it very often unless I want to do like a full glam. I do not reach for this every single day because it is pricey and you don't get a lot of product. It just blends effortlessly. It blurs, it covers. It just looks gorgeous on the skin, you guys. So many people talked about this foundation this year. So many people love this foundation. I feel like I do have drier skin, but now I feel like I'm leading a little bit more combo. I'm super dry in my T-zone and around my nose, and my chin very, very, very dry, and the perimeter of my forehead is also very dry, but I'm starting to produce a little bit more oil like in my cheek area and then in like the center of my forehead. So, and I've kind of noticed that over the last couple of months that my skin has changed a little bit. It's still overall dry. It's doing better. And this stuff is just bomb. Like, it's the perfect shape if you want to do like under eye. Like, you can highlight with this, you can contour with this. They release different skin tones, different undertones, just so you can kind of use this foundation for everything. Now, I doubt that I would ever buy this to use strictly as a contour because I believe you only get 2.8 ounces or 0.28 ounces of product, and it's like $50. So I have griped about that so many times on my channel. Just, it's such a good foundation, but it's just so expensive, which Hourglass, I mean, it kind of comes with it. You kind of know that Hourglass is going to be expensive, but it is definitely worth checking out. It is definitely worth trying. This is another thing that a lot of people hyped up, a lot of people talked about, but it actually is really freaking good. So next I'm going to mention that glow. 2016 was the year of just having that wet, high shine, high intensity, high impact highlight. Now, I like to have a nice glow, but I don't like to have it to be too over the top, especially because I do have issues with acne and texture and things like that. So I do go for like the high shine sometimes, the wet look sometimes, but overall, I want my highlighters to have like the ability to do both, if you get what I'm saying. So I want it to be able to look a little bit more natural if I want it to, but then I also want to be able to like take it there if it needs to go there. Like, space, if I want them to see me up there, I don't want there to be no issues. And these were my favorite highlighters of 2016. The Anastasia Glow Kit. Now, do I necessarily think that you need all of them? No, I don't have the Moonchild palette, the Moonchild one, which I want, and I don't have the Sweets one, which I'm not really like that concerned about. I do have the Ultimate Glow, but that one was just not the same. That one was not a favorite. These three are favorites. Now, the original two were the That Glow and the Gleam. Now, I don't believe you can pick up any of these anymore. I'm not sure. I know you can get the Moonchild palette still, and I know you can get the Sun Dip palette, and you can probably still find the That Glow palette, which you don't need that one. Leave that one on the shelf. But these, you guys, these, I took them out, but oh, well, these are just gorgeous. Now, like I mentioned, you don't necessarily need all of them. It's 40 bucks for three very large, very, very large highlighters. Now, some people will say you can't get away with wearing all four of them, so it makes it not worth it. Now, the only one that I would say is a little bit more challenging in the way of being able to use all four if you have a lighter or light to like medium skin tone would be the Sun Dipped palette. This one does lean a little bit more bronzy and a little bit more deeper in the terms of highlighters, but I have found a way to use them, all of them. So I will just use it as bronzer toppers. I could just use it as eyeshadows. they work. I think that they're good, especially 40 bucks. Yes, it's a lot of money, but for 4 highlighters, especially when you think that Urban Decay sells their highlighters for what, 28 bucks a piece, Too Faced around 28 bucks. You know, there's highlighters by themselves that go up to 50 bucks just for one highlighter. So I definitely think that these were beautiful. The consistency of them is gorgeous. They do not emphasize texture. Depending on the type of brush you use, you can get it very, very subtle and just very soft and just a very like nice sheen, or you can go in heavy, honey, and you can get like glowing for the gods. So these are just absolutely amazing, and I am so glad that I picked up all of them, especially before they were not available anymore. Highly recommend, highly love. Check out Anastasia's palettes, or any of the ones that you can still get your hands on. I definitely think that they are worth doing. Now my personal favorites out of all 3 of them, my personal favorites are Summer, which was the one that came in, what kit did you come in? Summer came in the Sun Dipped palette. Another favorite of mine was Starburst, and Starburst came in the Gleam palette. And then this is the That Glow palette, and my 2 favorite ones out of the That Glow palette were Sunburst and Bubbly. I mix those 2 together quite often. So I just think that they're beautiful, you guys, and I loved them in 2016. My favorite bronzers, contours of 2016. I don't believe any of these are new. One of them might be new. I think one of them was released in 2016, but the other 2 are definitely older products. So for contour, my favorite contour of 2016 was the Charlotte Tilbury Film Star Bronze and Glow. Gorgeous, gorgeous. It is the highlighter I love too. They are the most subtle yet effective beauty products you will ever use. Sculpts your face absolutely beautifully. It's not too warm, it's not too cool. It is just the perfect powder to just kind of give you the illusion of sharper cheekbones. It gives you the illusion of the perfect shadow under, like, it's just really, really good. I am wearing this today, and I just, every time I wear this, I don't wear it all the time. This is something that I kind of save for like special occasions, because it is a little bit expensive, let's be real, but whenever I want to look absolutely just like put together, whenever I want to look full glam, I reach for this every single time. I use the highlighter a lot as well, but I just think that it's perfect, you guys. It blends out effortlessly. It just looks beautiful on the skin. It looks so absolutely natural, and I definitely think that this is worth it. And I will mention it again because I've talked about Beautylish a lot on my channel. If you spend over $100, you guys, you can break stuff down into 3 equal payments. Charlotte Tilbury is sold on Beautylish, so if you wanted to try out some of her products, specifically this bad boy, that is an easy and effective way to definitely try out some of her products without having to break the bank all at once. I bought her products, if I'm not mistaken, I'm pretty sure that I bought this particular product off of Beautylish. Pretty sure. So that's a definite good way to go about trying a little bit more high-end makeup that has been on your wish list for a really, really long time. Her powders are just beautiful, you guys. Stunning. Okay, so 2 other products that you guys have definitely seen a bazillion times. The Pure Glow Together bronzer. It's just beautiful. I've used it so many times. I got some RCMA No Color powder all up in here, but it has 6 strips in total, and you can there's 3 shimmer and 3 mattes. So you can kind of push your brush wherever you want to. I kind of just swirl it all together and just go to town. And I just think that it just gives the most beautiful, like, bronzy look. I do not use it as a contour. I use it definitely as an all over bronze. So I went in with this today to like get a light contour, and then I kind of bronzed up my entire face with this product. I like it because it does give like that little bit of like a hint of a glow. And I just don't think that a lot of bronzers tend to, for some reason, pull very, very warm on my skin and very, very orangey red on my skin. A lot of them do. This one does not do that to me, which is probably why I used it so much. I have never really tried a lot of Pure products before, but just for some reason and it just has like the most beautiful sheen, and it just blends out so beautifully, and it's just, I just feel like it is the perfect, on my skin, it's the perfect like a neutral bronzer. Now my holy grail, my ride or die, my can't live without, my will repurchase again and again and again, is the Makeup Forever Pro Bronze Fusion, and I get mine in the shade 20M. the consistency of this, the formulation of this, just everything about this bronzer is absolutely perfect. Now this one does pull a little bit warm on my skin, just a little bit, but it just blends out effortlessly. It blends out beautifully. I know a lot of people like love this and talked about this in 2015, but I have been stuck on it and I have just keep using it. And I have gone through an entire one. This is my second one that I have gone through. And I have definitely already made like a huge dent in this one. It is just a really good bronzer. If you get it and you've never felt it before, the consistency is something that you will have never like felt before, especially when it comes to like face powders. It's just, I don't know how to explain it, but it's just, I don't know how to explain it, but it just, I don't know, it just works, y'all. It just works. Favorite powder of 2016, which, I mean, again, I use this one a ton. This is my favorite powder to bake my face with, to clean up contours, to clean up anything like that. It is the RCMA No Color Powder. I hate the packaging. This has lasted me probably a good, I would say a good 6 months. Half of it within that time has spilled on my floor, or when I open it, it just kind of spills everywhere. You can see it was all over my bronzer, but it's 12 bucks and it's effective. This one is just really good. It's just really easy and it's really cheap. So if you have dry skin, you can bake your under eyes with it and it won't look crepey and it won't look messy and it won't look like, honey, what did you do? It does not leave a white cast. Already repurchased another one and I see myself using this for like ever because it's $12. And it lasts like the entire year. So it's so good. Just gotta find a different way to store it because this sucks. What am I missing? What am I missing? What am I missing? My favorite lip products of 2016. Now, I got really into liquid lipsticks this year. Prior to that, I hadn't used them too much because I just thought that they were just a little too drying, but I was just going, I guess, for the wrong formulation. So shout out to Kat Von D Lolita, because that is gonna be my favorite liquid lipstick, I feel like, forever and ever and ever. Now, my favorite liquid lipsticks this year, and I feel like they are the most comfortable liquid lipsticks that I have ever tried, are the Smashbox Always On liquid lipsticks. These are so good. So freaking good. They wear beautifully. They don't feel drying. They don't crack. They don't start to look and separate and just look odd after a couple of hours. Now, obviously, I only have nudes. I only got nudes, so I don't know how the darker shades will wear. I keep wanting to get a couple of the like more vibrant shades. I want the Boss shade, the one that was in collaboration with Lily Singh, but I can never get it. I can never find it. But as far as the nudes, my two favorites are Always, no, that's the name of the lipstick. In Demand and Stepping Out. They are very similar in the tube, but one of them is a little bit more pinky, one of them is a little bit more brown, and I just, like I mentioned, I love these. I'm so happy that these came out in 2016 because they are actually really, really good. If you have not tried these, if you have not tried them, if you're not typically a fan of liquid lipsticks because you find them to be too drying and you have not tried these, give these a shot. My mom even loves these. Like, my mom is always like, ooh, the Smashbox, ooh, they're so good. Ooh, let me try another one. So if mama gives them the seal of approval, I'm telling you, they're good. One of my other favorite liquid lipsticks of 2016, and we're just talking about the lipsticks. I know that there's been a lot of controversy behind the actual brand owner, but I'm just talking about the lipsticks, y'all. That's all I'm talking about. Now, the Jeffree Star Velour liquid lipsticks. I actually really like these. I almost didn't mention these today because I hate the smell of these. Like, they smell so bad, and sometimes I just don't even want to reach for them because of that, because they don't smell good. And I know he always talks about how they're supposed to smell good, but no, they don't. They just don't. They just don't. But I love his range of nudes is so good. Some of his colors are just a little bit too out there for me. I do think that these kind of have a similar formulation. However, I think that the Jeffree Star liquid lipsticks are a little bit more drying. The shades I have here are Mannequin Gemini, Rose Madder, and Unicorn Blood. My favorite is probably Gemini. Now, some of his, I want to say that all of these were released this year except for Unicorn Blood. All of these were new shades to his line. They are easy to apply. I like the doe foot applicator on these. I think that they have like that nice little divot that allows you to get your Cupid's bow really, really easily. And I do think that they're good. I'm just gonna kind of leave it there. Again, like I said, he has some really great nudes. And if you are a nude lover, these are good. They're good formulation. I just don't like the smell, y'all. What am I leaving out? Am I leaving anything out? I probably am. All right, so my two favorite blushes of the year have been, and this has been a favorite for like years, like 6-7 years, like such a long time, but it is just one of those blushes that I just can't stop using. I can't and I won't, and I just think it's beautiful. It is Max Margin. Now, I absolutely love this blush. It leans a little bit more peachy and it has a little bit more of a shine. I mentioned this one in my Holy Grail Ride or Die makeup video, or makeup tag video. And it's just one of my favorite blushes. I reach for it all the time. I've tried to stop, especially since I'm on YouTube now and I'm definitely starting to do a lot more makeup tutorials. I'm trying my very hardest not to reach for this as much as I used to, but I used to reach for this all the time. I still reach for it all the time. This is probably my second one of these, maybe even third of the year. We'll say second because 3 is a lot. This is my second one of these this year, and it's definitely something that when I run out of, I will repurchase. I love this blush. Now, when I want a more nude blush, when I don't want to have to think about it, does it match my eyes? Which let's be real, I do nude eyeshadow all the time, but Becca blushes in general are so good, so good. I've never really bought in their individual ones. I always buy their palettes, like the Jaclyn Hill palettes or the palette that they came out with for holiday. But this year I decided to buy a couple of their just singles, and my favorite one is Wild Honey. It is the perfect neutral blush. It has a bit of a sheen. It's absolutely stunning. They blend so easily. They're extra pigmented though, you guys, so you do have to be careful with these blushes, because the first time I used one of these on camera, I ended up not even posting the tutorial because I was just kind of like, hey girl, hey, and just putting blush on, and then I looked back at the footage and I was like, oh, that's a lot of blush. So it's definitely a blush that you do have to be careful with. It's definitely a blush that you want to layer lightly, but it looks absolutely stunning on the skin. It gives a beautiful shimmer. Well, not shimmer, I'm sorry. It gives a beautiful sheen. They're just gorgeous. They're beautiful blushes. I am wearing Wild Honey today, and I just like the way that they sit on the skin. I just like the way that they just look on the skin. They're gorgeous. Becca does make some very expensive face products, but their blushes and their highlighters are absolutely amazing. All right, guys, and I think that was pretty much everything that stood out to me this year. A lot of my favorite products, a lot of stuff that you will definitely be seeing in 2017. I think that they are just good, solid products, you guys. I feel like I'm leaving a couple of things out, but it's all good. When I go back to edit this video, I'm probably gonna be like, oh my God, how could I not mention that? But anyways, you guys, I really hope that you did enjoy some of my favorite products of 2016. All right, guys, so thank you for joining me today, and thank you so much more for joining me for the past year. My 1-year anniversary on YouTube is actually in a couple of weeks. So thank you guys so much. And I hope that 2017 brings you guys nothing but blessing and love, that you're able to do everything that your heart desires. I wish you guys so much success and just so much happiness. Thank you guys for allowing me to realize a small dream of mine. I really hope that you did enjoy this video, you guys, and I guess I will see you in 2017. Bye, guys.